Hey, this is Angie for Happy Healthy Vegan, and I'm back in the kitchen for another cooking demo. So I'm a little nervous this time because I'm trying something that I've never done before. I'm gonna be making baked donuts. I know, I'm so behind the trend, but I still had quite a few ingredients left from my last 2 Thrive boxes, and I thought it was high time that I tried making them. So what I've got to work with here is some almond flour, some cacao, maple syrup. I've got one of my vanilla beans left. I've got some vegan egg from Follow Your Heart and some coconut oils. Now, added to all these ingredients from Thrive, I'm gonna be putting a banana to take the place of some of the oil that you might normally use in baked goods. So this is literally the first time that I will be attempting to make baked donuts. So I'm hoping I've come up with a good recipe. Wish me luck! Now, I wanted to point out that all of these ingredients were given to me free from Thrive, so if you want to call that sponsored, then this is a sponsored video. In fact, they also gave me a brand new deal for you guys. Which is great for people who have not tried Thrive, as well as people who are currently Thrive members. So spend $29 or more and they will give you a free full jar of almond butter. Woo! So check out the show notes below for the link to that free offer. All right, getting this party started, I've got my oven set at 325 and I've got all my additional gear set out here, my bowls and my measuring implements and whatnot. Now, I wanted to give you a little aside here. In my research, I read that blanched almond flour is the best to work with when making baked goods, especially cakey ones that you want to rise. So luckily, that's exactly what I've got here in the Bob's Red Mill, blanched, super fine almond flour. So I'm gonna measure out a 1.25 cups of this. Now, if I forget to mention a measurement or something as I go along, fear not, it will all be in the show notes, so check it out. And speaking of fluffy baked goods and rising, I decided to go with baking powder because that is probably gonna be the best bet for the ingredients that I've got here. I did a lot of research on why I use baking powder over baking soda. And with baking soda, I would probably need to add vinegar, which I do not have any. And anyways, Thrive has Rumford baking powder. They say that you should use about 1 teaspoon per cup. So I guess I'll use a teaspoon and a bit. And by a bit, I mean 1/4 teaspoon. I'm so nervous. So if you go too crazy on this, it could make your baked good taste sour, and we don't really want that. Okay, and as for the chocolate in this recipe, I've been kicking back and forth whether I wanted to do a banana donut with a chocolate frosting or a straight up chocolate banana donut. And because I love chocolate, I'm gonna go for it. So most of the recipes I've been seeing online call for cocoa, but I happen to have a huge bag of cacao powder, so I'm just gonna go for it, you guys. I'm totally guessing at 1/4 cup chocolate. I hope that'll make it chocolatey enough. We're just gonna have to find out. You know, that's the crazy thing about making up recipes is you really don't know how it's gonna turn out until you cook it and eat it. So let's find out. So I've seen some debate over whether or not to put salt in baked goods, and of course most people say do. I don't tend to use a lot of salt in cooking, but I am gonna put a tiny pinch in here just to be traditional. So here's my dry goods, and I'm just gonna whisk them up together until they are combined. Next up is the vegan egg. So I'm going to mix up the powder and water to create 1 vegan egg. If you haven't used vegan egg before, it takes 2 tablespoons of powder and 1/2 cup of ice cold water. And you just whisk it until it basically looks like a whisked egg. A lot of you guys have commented on the smell. Yeah, there's a very sulfuric smell that is reminiscent of eggs. There we go, basically there. Now I'm gonna scrape in 1/2 of this vanilla bean. Oh my God, it smells so good. All right, I showed you guys how I did this in my recipe for oatmeal cookies. Basically just score the side of the bean and then use the knife to scrape out all the vanilla caviar, I do believe it's called, just right into the wet ingredients. Pretty simple. Now I'm honestly not sure how much of the maple syrup to put in. I'm thinking between 1 and 3 tablespoons. I'm gonna start off with 2 because I've also got the bananas for sweetener. So in my research and personal experience using bananas in place of oils, it can tend to make your baked goods a little heavy and sometimes even rubbery. So for a lighter baked good, I read that it's maybe good to only substitute half the amount of oil. So I'm gonna play it safe and I'm just gonna put 1 tablespoon of the melted coconut oil alongside of the banana to try to help it out. Where is my tablespoon? Oh, perfect. If your coconut oil is completely hardened, you can warm it up on the stove. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and whisk this a little bit before I add in the banana. Oh my gosh, that eggy smell is just crazy what they were able to do with the vegan egg. Ooh, I'm starting to get excited, you guys. I have a good feeling about this recipe. All right, now I'm gonna add in the banana, and this is the ripest one. Whoa, so ripe. It's the ripest one I've got in the house. So, I mean, I could puree it in the Vitamix beforehand. In the muffin recipe that I've got in Keep a Carb Baby, I actually go ahead and liquefy my apples and bananas in my Vitamix before putting them in. But this one's pretty ripe. I think I'm just gonna wing it, just put it in there and blend it up as well as I can with a fork. Gonna get my fork out to mash it. First moment of truth. Let's see if I've made enough liquid to turn these dry things into dough. Oh my goodness. Can't even believe I'm making this up as I go along, you guys. Ah. Well, you know, it's starting to look like dough. I'm thinking maybe a splash of nut milk would be nice for this to just make it a little less thick. I just happen to have some Elmhurst milked hazelnuts laying around, which could add an interesting flavor, so let's see. You could use any nut milk, I'm sure. Though I guess almond would make a lot of sense since this is an almond flour. Oh, here we go. There we go. All right, let's get this show on the road. Okay, after tasting it, I've decided to add in 1 more tablespoon of maple. All right, I'm getting more and more nervous, you guys. So this is supposedly a non-stick pan. I'm gonna take them at their word and put the dough directly in there. Da-da-da-da. Oh my God, I could not be more nervous, you guys. I've never done this. I've never actually made an almond flour baked good before. Pretty chocolatey. All right, so now I've got this filled to the best of my ability. Time to put it in the oven. All right, so I've set my timer for 15 minutes and then we'll see. I guess meanwhile I can make the optional ganache. This is kind of naughty, but it's basically 2 tablespoons oil, a tablespoon maple syrup, and 2 tablespoons of cocoa, and I'm gonna mix it all up. It's starting to look like chocolate sauce. So we would just be dipping the top of our donuts onto this to give it a glaze. You can totally skip this if you want to cut out some of the fat in this recipe. This is definitely not a weight loss recipe. Let me just get that out of the way right now. Oh my God, there's the sound. Ah! Ooh, they smell so outrageously good, you guys. So I'm gonna let this cool down and then I'll see if I can pop them out. Oh yeah. So here's my completed donuts, and I don't know, I think I might put them in the fridge just to let the chocolate ganache harden up a little bit before we try them, but they smell so good. Gosh, my non-stick pan actually worked. So Ryan's just back from running and we've decided we don't want to wait for these to cool down. So we're gonna just try one of them now. We'll split it in half and then I'll get that Instagram. All right, babe, let's do some donuts.
We can do some donuts.
Let's do some
Awesome.
donuts.
Do some donuts.
I know, sorry, I've got the setup so low.
Wow, looks like a donut.
Fudgy. I think I could have cooked it a little bit longer, but
I just inhaled that.
I know, I can't believe I'd only eaten like 3 bites here.
No, that was delicious.
You like that?
Yeah, like you're saying you could have maybe cooked a little more to get it a little harder.
Yeah, it seemed a little undercooked.
I don't know.
You don't care?
It could have. I'd like to check it out just to kind of A/B it, you know, compare. I'm looking at my fingers though.
I got a banana in there. Here you come, last bite. We got 4 more, 5 more, 5 more.
I'm so glad this recipe worked. I was so worried for it that you get depressed if it didn't work out.
I
You're
know.
filming it and you can't use any of it. You can't eat anything.
pretty good. I
It'd be
mean-
like a 3 fails.
It would be great to do another batch to be totally sure, but I'm just gonna put this video out there. You guys can experiment. This is all done as an experimentation, and yeah, so I think it's time for dinner now, actually.
Oh yeah. I'm ready after that
Yeah,
run.
I don't want to eat just donuts for dinner. But anyways, if you guys try this recipe out, let me know what you think down below. Let me know what you may change about the recipe so I can try it in my next batch. So like I said at the beginning of the video, I do have a brand new offer for you guys at Thrive Market, so check the show notes down below for a special link that gets you a free jar of almond butter when you spend $29 or more. Now, this is good for current subscribers of Thrive, and if you don't have a subscription, it will get you a 30-day free subscription, so check it out. Also, check out our friend Caitlin Shoemaker of From My Bowl. She did a great Thrive What I Eat in a Day video recently. I guess I'll put a link to that down below as well. So I guess that's about it until next time.
As we're gonna start getting going here.
Keep it carb, baby. Keep it carb.